All right. Hello, dear students, dear 8th and ninth graders of Bill schools. Today is a lesson 3. In fact, this is a last week of September. And this week we are doing certain books with 8th graders and ninth graders. We don't have much viewers so far, so I will just be listing the books in units and the topics we're going to deal with. So, 8th graders will be doing for certificate language practice, Unit 2. Unit 2 is about present perfect and how do you differ it from past simple. Topic is very detailed and the book shows good exercises. We are not going to discuss it here in this video. I'm sure anyone can do it by themselves. Second book is a first certificate use of English. Here, this is one of my favorite books. Seriously, nice book, great book. And Unit 2 deals with infinitives and participles. This is a very serious topic. Even ninth graders wouldn't skip this part of it because I am going to explain the difference between participles, infinitives, and gerunds. I would add gerunds into this category too. So it's coming in a while. Next book is first certificate reading. We are doing Unit 2, which is about competitive sports. This unit, this book in general, is to train your focus, your eye for details, and you read longer texts and then you do specific exercises, check yourselves, write down the new vocabulary. Next book is grammar and usage for FCE plus vocabulary for FCEs. Those are very short, tiny, fun books to do. Yet you need to write down all necessary vocabulary you think you might need. I mean, you don't know. Ninth graders, we do advanced grammar in use, units 5 to 8, and all those units are about tenses, past perfect, present perfect, simple, present perfect, continuous difference, all that stuff. We are not going to discuss it. There's plenty of material on YouTube, so I'm sure you'll be able to deal with those topics by yourselves. Next book is Advanced Vocabulary in Use. Units 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 units. And we deal with new vocabulary concerning business world and study world, any discussion needed for education, university studies, and debates are given here. So this week vocabulary is very rich. By the way, did you know that at the weekends of this week, we are going to have our online debate among Bill schools. I'll probably leave the link down and let you know. You can register and try your luck, participate in debates. And our last book with ninth graders is called New Headway, Advanced Level, and we are starting it today. All right. First things first, we do participles, gerunds, and infinitives. Please pay attention to this book. The book is called First Certificate Use of English. It usually gives lots of tables, lots of exercises to prove your point, and very detailed explanation. The book is nice. But I am going to explain things a little bit differently, as short as possible. Now, participles can be of three types: present participle, past, and perfect. Present participles can also be called participle 1, past participles can be called participle 2, and participle 3, respectively. As you can see, there is there's difference between them. Present participle is all about adding ings after the verbs, and the meaning it gives to a sentence usually is similar to adjective. It describes some nouns. Past participle also gives this descriptive explanation and is done with verb 3 version of a verb. Perfect participle usually means a verb in a sentence. It's kind of a combination between present and past participles together. Having verb 3, having done something. There's a phrase, having said that, osuna aitakile. It's an adverb in a sentence. Basically, it serves as a modifier. Let's talk about infinitives, as infinitives is the first topic that book explains. Infinitives are initial form of verbs, and it can serve with a preposition to before, but it doesn't always have to. Infinitives can go by themselves without preposition to. It's not a must. So, infinitives can serve as a subject or an object in a sentence. For example, to learn is the goal. The goal is to learn. It can also serve as a modifier, as if to explain the purpose of actions, like take rest to recover. Why should I take rest? In order to recover. And infinitives is mostly used after certain verbs. You know that any sentence in English language, as in any other languages, they don't have to have only one verb in a sentence. Sometimes we have 2 verbs, we can have 3 verbs or even 4 verbs in one sentence, going one after another. In such cases, in English language, there are 2 ways of linking those verbs among each other. So we always pay attention to the first verb given. In this case, first verb is want. And want is a verb that always demands preposition to after itself. That's why if you want to add any verb after want, you have to use preposition to. And there are many other verbs like want, agree, admit, and so on. This topic can be discussed later. This topic is called verb patterns, when we look into verbs closely and categorize them as verbs plus to plus verb and verbs plus ing. Now let's discuss about gerunds. Gerund is the topic that wasn't given in a book, but I added it myself. Gerunds are very similar to participles in a way. It is very similar to present participle, as the structure is the same, verb plus ing. But in a sentence, it serves a totally different role. Verb plus ing has to mean a noun, it has to answer noun words. For example, breaking is bad. In this case, breaking is taken as a noun, therefore as a subject in this sentence. Swimming is good, the same situation. Breaking is bad is a gerund breaking, and breaking news is a present participle. So I hope you can see a distinct difference between present participle and a gerund. Gerund isn't divided into any types. There is only one type of gerund, verb plus ing, which has to mean a noun. Now, gerunds can also be used after other verbs. For example, I fancy playing. As you can see, I have put these two examples side by side so that you can see the difference. Even if fancy and want are synonyms and mainly they mean the same thing, fancy needs ing after itself. It demands ing to the next verb, whereas want demands preposition to after itself. Therefore, these two sentences mean roughly the same things, but structurally they differ. I fancy needs a gerund after itself, therefore verb plus ing, and I want needs an infinitive after itself. So here's the difference between participles, gerunds, and infinitives. I'm sure you can watch some more videos, not by me, by other educators on YouTube, and see a little, some more extra materials about gerunds. Oops. But that's for me. Now, this is for 8th graders, and maybe 9th graders will find this slide beneficial too. Now we are going to move to 9th grader book Headway Advanced. Now I'd like to show you the Headway book. It looks like this. It's quite an old book. I'm not sure what edition this is, but this is definitely not last edition book. You'd have to find student's book, workbook, and teacher's book of this book, and do unit 1. The book is designed for classroom teaching. Therefore, this first exercise can be skipped. But for your own curiosity, try matching. These are people living in US, but they weren't born in US. They have immigrated there, and you'd have to find out which country each of these individuals are from. Moving on, we have a reading section. Reading about Ellis Island. Ellis Island is a very particular and historic island in US history, and you'd have to read 3 pages of text plus exercises given. And don't worry, texts are very engaging. You might have some difficulty with some vocabulary, but in general, it's quite easy. And do accompanying exercises. There is a little language focus point here on page 12 about avoiding repetition, but I guess it shouldn't be a big problem for you. By the way, we do not have listenings. We don't have CDs for this. If you can find it, please share it with the rest of us. But I couldn't find any listenings to this book. There are listening tracks for workbook of the same series. but not a student book. And I would like you to pay attention to this table. About nationalities. How do you pronounce or spell the country name? How does it differ from adjective and describing persons and languages? Please fill in this table, a very good exercise for us to do. And there are listening exercises. There are 3 of them. 3 listening exercises we couldn't do from the book, but still we could investigate into the topic of British and American English differences. Just dial British American English on YouTube and you can find lots of videos showing differences in spelling and differences in synonyms of the word, same words in different languages, in different continents. That's it about advanced language. No, it's advanced headway. You would have to do its workbook as well. You can download CDs from the link. There are CDs for workbook headway. And yeah, that's it. That's it for this week. Yeah, if you are confused, what books should we do? I can share our old presentation with the table. Here it is. It probably might help you to see what books should we do in September, week 5. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that would be it. See, it didn't take much time. Probably because this week topics are very easy to navigate for yourself. I mean, for self-navigation. If you don't have any questions, this is a wrap. See you on Friday.